Okay, we'll call to order the Raymore Parks and Recs Board meeting for Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. Can I get a roll call, please?
Member Supple?
Present.
Member Casas? Member Troutman?
Present.
Member Manson?
Present.
Member Collier?
Present.
Member Bartow?
Present.
That is all.
All here. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no personal appearances, so we'll move on to item number 5, consent agenda. I will need a motion, please.
I recommend we accept the consent agenda at this time.
I second it.
Okay, hearing a first and second, any modifications? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and go to vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. Sorry, I didn't see that. 5-4, none against, 1 abstain. Next, we'll move into staff reports. Director?
Thank you, sir. I will ask Mr. Gibbs to give a recreation report.
Good evening, gentlemen. In the spirit of brevity for this evening with the agenda we have, I have submitted a written report, and I will answer any questions if you have anything for me this evening.
Any questions for Superintendent Gibbs? No? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Director?
I'll ask Mr. Rulo for a parks report.
Thank you. Yes, I have submitted a written report also. Just wanted to touch on a couple things. I did want to say a big thank you to Zach Frazier and the Public Works Department. They came down and helped us mowing down at Hawk Ridge Park on the dam and around the lake over by the amphitheater. It looks excellent, and it just helps the beauty of that park. So I wanted to thank them. And also just to let you all know that we had a very nice tournament last weekend. I think there was 18 teams in it. Everything went well. And we have we have a state tournament starting this Thursday. They play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Not sure on the age group yet, but we know we got fields rolling, so it should be exciting, and hopefully it's a good weekend. With that, I will take any questions.
Any questions for Superintendent Rulo? Okay, thank you. Director, I'll move it to you.
Thank you, sir. A couple things. I've also submitted a written staff report. Want to highlight a couple items. The Summer Quest Camp, or the summer camp, has been doing a book fair in the lobby at the RAC the past couple of weeks. Been pretty successful. A lot of parents ended up buying books because when the kids get bored, they get to go pick one out, and by the time they get there, they want to finish it. So moms and dads have to buy it. So that's worked out well for the library. We also did our Book in the Park program. I put a picture in there, the Tales on Trails story walk at the Arboretum. We went down and checked it out. It was really pretty cool. Glad we were able to do something with that, partner with the Cass County Library. Let's see. We have currently a concert going on right now at TV Hanna. Our our venues and our parks are getting used for a lot of activities that aren't necessarily ours, even though we help set up and do things. But pretty pleased that the Arts Commission and the Communications Department takes advantage of those venues. So right now we got a concert going on. They're using the amphitheater is it Tuesdays and Thursdays? It's every other Thursday, I believe, is the schedule on that. So last week they had a steel drum band at the amphitheater, and just really exciting. We also, last Friday night, we had the Movie in the Bark program at TB Hanna Station. A little over 100 people there with their dogs out there, and they were spread out all over the grass area at TB Hanna. It looked really cool. Pictures were really neat. And we are preparing for the Spirit of America celebration. That is July 2nd. Everything starts at 7 o'clock. Live music starts at 7. I guess parking begins around 6, probably? Correct. Parking begins at 6. We had an operational meeting this morning, and obviously I didn't get to be in most of that, but these guys were there, and that's what matters, not me. But we will make sure the announcements are going out and announce the band and stuff like that as we get closer. But looking forward to doing Spirit of America on Friday night, July 2nd, since we didn't get to do one last year. We're expecting a record crowd, given that it's a Friday night of a 3-day holiday weekend. So hope to see everybody out there, and that concludes my staff report. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the director? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move on. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move into new business. First up, action item A, alcohol in the park, policy revision. Director?
Thank you, sir. This is the first review and revision of a policy since the municipal code has been revised. We intended to do most of this last year, and when we started doing Zoom meetings and COVID, these types of items didn't seem all that necessary at the time. They are now. This one actually is important, as we do have a request for alcohol in the park with the festival sitting on my desk, and I wanted to make sure that the policy gets put in place before we go through that process. Essentially, the old policy required city council final approval for any groups or approved groups to have alcohol in the park. With the code revision, that falls to the governing body, which would be the park board in case of the parks. So the process, the way the code reads is that it falls to the Parks and Recreation Board's policies and procedures. Your policy is what I've attached. We can make any changes you want to this. I've provided you with it works out in green. It's a green line crossed out version of the policy. What I did was very similar to the rest of our policies is I made it an internal staff procedure with an approval or a denial, and then if it's a denied and there's a repeal process, that would come back to the park board. If somebody requests alcohol in the park, I say no based on our rules. They don't like that answer, they can appeal that, send an email, it would go before the park board, and then you guys can discuss that, and you can either hold my recommendation or you can override that. So it just expedites the process. This particular one that we're looking at with Festival in the Park, they've been doing this for over 10, 15 years. I mean, it's a no-brainer in terms of that, but I wanted to make sure our policy gets taken care of. If you look in there, very few changes other than removal of references to the city council. I didn't change eligible groups, anything like that. All of that stays the same. It just narrows that down to they fill out the application, and if it meets all the requirements of this policy, I have no reason to deny it. If it doesn't meet those, I can deny it, or I can bring it to you guys for additional support and help. Also, I've included, after the policy, is the actual permit. We fill one of these out every time, like the Arts Commission or Melissa, who is the representative of the Arts Commission, she fills one of these out for all of her events that would have alcohol in the park, and we take care of that. So Nothing new, other than just the revision of taking the council out. That concludes staff report. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of the director? No? All right, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
all right. I recommend that we approve the updated alcohol in the park policy.
Okay. Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? Carries 6-0. Okay, we'll move on to action item B, Festival in the Park. Director?
Thank you, sir. Every year that the Festival in the Park Committee is, their desire is to host an event, and they want to use one of the parks, we have an MOU that we basically update. This is step one of the process. The MOU, there's a letter of request, and it outlines all of what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. That's all part of the process. And essentially what this does is it comes to the park board for your approval. And if we approve it, it goes on to the city council for their review and approval. If the city council agrees upon that, I believe it is the park board chair and the city manager sign this, entering an agreement with the festival in the park, abiding by what their request has been. It's typically just the 3 days. Thursday night's family night. Friday night they can sell alcohol in the beer garden. Saturday all day, and they can have a beer garden, which is part of the alcohol permit process. It also tells how they can use our name in any of the advertising. In-kind support, if the council is approving of this, the council gives basically a transfer of $5,000 to our operation budget for in-kind services so that Steve and his guys maintain the parks during that 3-day event. No changes to this other than possible, I believe there were changes in their officers. You know, that would happen every year. And I believe that they did not host an event last year due to COVID-19, but the previous year they've lost a couple of their members on their board, so they had to make some updates on that. But their request is pretty simple. No major changes. They did make a request that we reviewed and talked about in our work session, which I'll get back with the festival on that. But I would like to mention also for the record that last month, Dan Barnes, representative and chairman of the festival, did attend the meeting, but we didn't have quorum. I told him there was no need for him to be here tonight, but I would move that forward. So just make sure that's for the record. Happy to answer any questions on this. That concludes staff report.
Any questions for the director? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move we accept the requested dates to improve the 2021 Festival in the Park, the City of Raymore MOU.
Okay, how about a second?
Second.
Okay, having a first and second, any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to vote. All those in favor? Okay, passes 6-0.
I will need to get your signature, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, we'll move on to action item C, CIP recommendation. Director?
Yes, sir. Every year, as part of the budget process, which we are in the middle of, the staff and the board review our capital projects. We do recommend a 5-year project plan to the city council. Internally, we actually have a 15 to 20-year plan in place. So as 1-year project drops off, the next year we're ready to go. So we have a pretty decent plan. Sometimes things happen where we have to deviate off of that and include some stuff. This particular year, we did discuss including the replacement of the skate park due to just the equipment's old, it's unsafe, it really is in dire need of an upgrade. And so the board recommended that we include that in our program for this upcoming fiscal year. By doing that, we did have to reduce the price of what we would do at Rec Park Playground, the 2 to 5-year-olds, but we feel like we can still get a very nice playground and complement our other playground because we did a little more on the other side the last time. So feel like this is a very good plan. This has been before the CIP committee within staff, representatives of all departments. They are in support of this. And after tonight, if the park board approves this, this will go to the city manager for final approval to give to the city council. And so what we're recommending is a $150,000 to replace the old 2 to 5-year-old playground. That if that is the case, then we'll be fairly aggressive on that this winter to get bids out for that so we can get that taken care of as quickly as possible. Same with the skate park. This particular price represents a complete replacement of all the equipment, but going from wood to metal structures so that it should last a little bit longer. But we do have some flexibility to kind of mix it up and change it a little bit. That's at your discretion. All other projects changed except the 2026. The next project bumped up, which are improvements in the Good Parkway Trail. That trail was built in 2003, and it is by this point it will need it very much so. And there's some floodplain issues in the southern portion of that. So anyway, happy to answer any questions, but this is the CIP, nothing new to you all. You've seen it before, but happy to answer any questions, and that concludes staff report.
Any questions for the director? No? I'll ask for a motion.
All right, Mr. Chairman. Give me a second, I'm gonna have to word this correctly.
Okay.
I move that the board approve to present to the city manager and to adjust project budgets to meet revenue projections as necessary.
Okay, second? Okay, hearing a first and second, any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go on to a vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. And the last action item, item number D, schedule of fees. Director?
Thank you. The schedule of fees are listed within the budget and presented to the city council, but is also used for the finance department. This is the document that sets the fees and charges that we use. Every department has to submit it, whether it's the water department or court or police department. It's the standard things that we set. This is one of the biggest, most important documents that you guys approve, even though we don't make a lot of changes to it. It does set the policy and the procedures for how we rent, how we do those things internally. There were several changes this year that we wanted to make. I provided you a copy of just the Parks and Rec portion of the schedule of fees in your packet, and I've redlined any changes that we've made. First of all is the farmer's market. The price that was in there was the former pricing when it was located at the park before it moved to before it moved back here behind City Hall. So we wanted to reflect those new prices there. The depot, we added the half shelter, and we wanted to make sure those prices for $35 for each half of that shelter was listed. And then the non-resident fees, we added the half shelter and the full shelter, but we also cleaned up and we tried to become more consistent with those. They were kind of all over the place, didn't really make much sense, and we wanted to clean that up a little bit so that it's easier for my staff to take care of on a day-to-day basis. Some of the other things are just name changes, which I highlighted, but on page 2 of this, the athletic field rentals, we did break that up a little bit, and we wanted to include tournament rentals, or what we would call for profit, somebody coming in to use our facilities to make a profit, and those are redlined in there. And what we added was not just baseball, but we added, last year we added soccer, and this year we wanted to include the flag football because that is a very popular sport. We get a lot of requests for just open turf fields, and we're probably not far away from a group wanting to come in and run in a flag football tournament or a 3-on-3, some type using those fields, so we want to make sure we had that. But we also included individual fields or that are for profit. So if a church wanted to come out and do a charity event, but they didn't want the whole complex, we wanted to be able to accommodate that. And when it comes to the soccer or flag football fields, we already have individual fields for those, and there's really no prep work to use those. So those fees remained. If you go down further, last year we updated the disc golf and increased that from $100 to $300 for the day for the tournament. That's per day. So if it's a 2-day tournament, that's $600 for the weekend. I just want to make sure that we're all comfortable. The board is comfortable, and that's what you intended. But then we added, obviously we have the ice rink now, so we added the pricing for the ice rink, which is the private rental, the $150 for 2 hours, which includes 20 pairs of skates and any of the package that we put together. And then any skates above and beyond that 20 is the $5 per pair. Or when we are renting skates and just open for business, it's $5 per pair. Finally, we wanted to update the services of park maintenance fees. If we're to charge a group rents or uses something, frankly, the festival would be a great example because they pay to use our staff, even though we are supplemented by the council to do in kind. If that wasn't the case, this would be what we would charge them an hourly rate to be. So we wanted to update that because the $20 and $30 really is not covering what we actually do. So we rarely use that, but I want to make sure it's in place so that if we have to, we have the appropriate cost. Keep moving forward. We have the RAC, the Hawkridge Park Amphitheater we updated last year, so no changes to that. There will be changes to that, significant changes once phase 2 of Hawkridge Park is complete. And we have parking and we have water out there, and we feel like we can charge a more premium price for that amenity. But for now, this is sufficient, and Centerview is in there as well. So those are the changes. What this will happen if you agree to those, or if you want us to make changes and we change that on the fly. Either way, it needs to go to. It will be included in the budget in the city council presentation in August, and that concludes my staff report. Happy to answer any questions on the schedule of fees.
Any questions for the director? No, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve the park board schedule of fees to be presented to the city manager.
Okay, call for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Nope, seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. Okay, we'll move to section 9, board elections. At this point in time, I will call for nominations for the park board chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we reapprove the slate from the previous board.
Okay. So for those that may understand or might not understand, the slate means we will be keeping the exact same positions as we had last year under one vote. So to be able to do that at this time, well, first, any discussion previous to that? Seeing none, we will go ahead and vote on the slate. All those in favor? Okay, it passes 6-0. That moved very quickly. We will now move into public comment. No public comment, so we will move into board member comment. Rich, I'll start with you.
I just want to say thank you to the staff, Parks and Rec, for doing a wonderful job. Steve, the parks look amazing, as always. Baseball fields are in perfect shape. And then I also want to say a special thank you to Greta for running that whole operation in there. You do an amazing job. Thank you.
Josh?
I have no comment.
Okay. Bill?
Same thing. I think we have an excellent staff, and they've done a tremendous job. I know Greta does a good one. She keeps it all together. And parks overall, and I think right now, the prospect and everything we have looking forward is going to turn out to be exceptional for this coming year. Thank you.
Simon?
Well, I was going to say I got nothing to say, but I do got something to say, which is just thank you to all of you for all your hard work.
Ryan?
Congrats to the board, and good luck with the petting zoo.
On that note, a couple things. I really want to thank Public Works for helping out in the collaboration with our group. Sometimes I know that's hard, but I know staff is appreciative of that, so I also want to do that. Also want to thank the Arts Commission for helping fill the parks along with us. It is awesome if you go out, whether it's Rec Park, whether it's Hawks Ridge, whatever, to see people out and about again. And having things going on is really awesome. Park staff, I will echo what everybody says here. We all know that Greta is the glue, so we didn't have to really go there. She already knew, but I appreciate all that you guys do. Going off what Rich said, it can't be easy to keep those fields and everything maintained with the rain, then the heat, then the rain, then the wind. They look fantastic no matter what field you're on. The programs are staffed. They are working well. You guys just do a great job. You know, the last thing I want to do, obviously, is thank the mayor, city council, city manager for always having our back and helping us through the things we have. So that's all I have. Last, we will move into adjournment. So I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn this meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Hearing a first and second, all those in favor? Passes 6-0. Meeting adjourned.